Hey everybody, it's Bob Goff here. I am so honored to be with you, Promise Keepers. I'm telling you, God does his very best work in community. I think what he does is he brings us together, even though we're far apart. I'm talking to you from my garage. You're looking in your living room. We're separated by states. We're separated by ideologies, but we're one in Christ. There's something beautiful, as John 17. It's like you got to put a glass up against the wall and hear Jesus talk to his dad. And he said, my prayer for them, that's me and you, is that we would understand what his relationship with God is by having people see what our relationship with one another, not just the people we agree with, not just the people we can identify with, but everybody. He said that I brought glory and honor to you by finishing the work you set before me. Men, I want you to finish your work. Let me tell you what that means for me. God has been doing different things in my life than he's doing in your life. He's up to different things this weekend. There's going to be a wedding planner somewhere that's praying for sunshine for that bride. But there's going to be a farmer who's praying for rain. And if it starts raining, it doesn't mean that God doesn't like the bride. It means that he's doing something else in someone else's life than he's doing in her life right then. And so what I want us to do is, no matter what it is that's happening, the things that we don't understand, just assume that God's up to something beautiful in someone else's life, even if it's confounding and complicating yours. That's what men and women who are patient do. Philippians 2:20, there's Paul talking about his buddy Timothy. He says, I don't have anybody like Timothy. He's a guy who takes a genuine interest in the people around him. I'm telling you, if we're taking a genuine interest, then we might bring an umbrella to that bride. We might have some empathy to say, like, wow, this was a really big thing for you. And while I'm not cheering for the farmer more than I'm cheering for you, I'm empathizing with both. I hope the farmer gets what he needs. I hope that you get what you need. And that's why he made so many of us, so that we wouldn't be alone. And he uses so many different analogies in the scriptures about farmers. I can't just help but dive into one or two of them. You know, we don't get what we want all the time. Out of college, I wanted to go work for this youth outreach outfit. I'm not going to tell you their name, but I wanted to go on staff, and I raised all my support, and I said, so can I go on staff? And they said no. I but it won't cost you anything. They're like, I know, no. So I went to law school. I got out and I had a bunch of smart guys working for me. And I said, tell you what, I'll just do all your law stuff for free. They were spending $700,000 a year on lawyers. And you know what they said? No. I'm like, what the heck? Sometimes there'll be something that you really want. You see a need. You want to meet that need. And it just doesn't match up. Chill out. If you're uptight, get a puppy. Don't get uptight. What I want you to do is know that God is doing something different in their life than he's doing in your life. Well, our job, take a genuine interest in people while it's happening. Crazy thing, fast forward 30 years. I had met Sweet Maria. This was probably 1981, 80 something, a long time ago. I met her and I'm like smitten like that. She was pretty nonplussed by me, but I was like in. And we were at this camp, and on the first night of the camp, she was with worker girls. So I got worker guys because I wanted to be within 10 feet of her. And this woman, an elderly woman, her pacemaker stopped and she keeled over. I mean, face in the spaghetti, keeled over. But I knew how to do CPR. And after 30 minutes, we got her going again. She didn't die. And I know Sweet Maria was thinking, this guy, Bob, he is not much to look at, but he can be helpful in a crack. And so one of the things that we did is we just kind of launched this relationship there. Well, guess what happened 6 months ago? This camp came up for sale. So I bought it. You guys, what a stupid time to own a camp in the middle of a pandemic when nobody can show up. It's been a train wreck. But this is what I've been spending my time doing. I decided I'm going to plant a vineyard. So I have a big excavator and this big brushing machine that goes out the end of the excavator, and you put it over the brush, the 6 foot, 7 foot tall brush, and it mulches it down. Do you know what's underneath the brush? Rattlesnakes. I hate snakes. But you know what? If we're going to be men that are pursuing God, we're going to take a genuine interest in the people, we got to clear the land. We need to make enough room so we can see who we are, who God's made us to be. And you're going to find some scary stuff if you're willing to take a deep dive into it. We cannot fix it unless we can see it. And I think clearing the brush in our lives means taking a dive, seeing what's the return address of some of the things that have shamed you, some of the things that have been fears for you, some of the competitions that you've had. Where's that coming from? Is that you trying to get validation from maybe a mom or dad that didn't give it to you? So I think when we clear the brush, we find out what God really has. And it'll be a couple scary things, but it gets a little less scary every time I clear a little bit more brush. Well, I was moving the excavator from one part of the property to another. I went underneath this oak tree and the arm of the excavator hit one of the branches. You know what was hanging from the branch? A beehive. A huge beehive. It landed right on top of the excavator. 10,000 ticked off bees are losing their minds. You know what I did? I shut the door. And I'm telling you, with all of the chaos going on around you, sometimes what you need to do is shut the door. Do what Jesus talked about finding a quiet place where you can actually do a little business. You can clear a little brush. You can deal with the snakes that you find. But you can't do that if you don't quiet it down. I never raise my voice. The only time I raise my voice is when I'm yodeling, and I've never yodeled. What I want to do is I want to find quiet places where we can clear the decks. Say, who is it that you want me to be? How do you want me to respond to some of the important issues of the day? And how can I dig in with a lot of courage? Well, once I get this place all brushed, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to plant vines. Now, things you don't know about Goff men, we all seem to live about the same number of days. It's kind of creepy, but it's true. We only have so many wines on our back of our toy. And so I know about where that is and where I am at 62 in relation to that. You know how long it takes a vine to grow a grape? 7 years. I'm actually probably planting grapes for people that I'm not even going to taste the grape. But you know what? I don't care. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to make something beautiful. And I think we get a chance to decide the same thing. I'm not doing it because I want to make wine. I don't even like wine. I like the bottle. I like the cork. I like the label. Just don't like the taste. Give me a Dr. Pepper. But I'm doing it because it'll be a beautiful thing. I want you to make beautiful things in your marriage. I want you to make your work beautiful. And your work, if your work is not beautiful, quit. I'm telling you, just send me your boss's phone number. I'll quit for you. But I want us to get into doing beautiful things. And you're not here just to create economic wealth for your family. If you're married, your wife would have married an ATM machine because they wouldn't have to pick up your socks. What God gave us people who just love us for us. And so create beautiful things. The most beautiful thing you can do is create this relationship with you and Jesus. And I don't say me just like a Sunday school kind of relationships. I mean, you got to clear the brush. I'm saying you going to clear the brush, you're going to find a couple rattlesnakes. You need to do business with what's underneath the brush in your life. God doesn't care what your faith looks like. He cares what it is. And then when you go underneath a branch like I did, and all of a sudden the bees land on top of you, you shut that door. And you just say, what I'm going to do is in a quiet moment of reflection, I'm going to turn this thing to Jesus. I'm going to say, who is the guy that you want me to be? And with a lot of courage, I'm just going to take the next step. Guys, I love you. I'm with you. I'm cheering for you. Go clear that brush. And let's be one while we're doing it. So long.